Hey everybody, this is Ryan with AGJ coming to you this week with a webinar. This is a part one of two series that we're doing on cyberbullying. Of course, being nerds, we know a little bit about bullying, but normally it's from the other end. So when we started thinking about cyberbullying, we were thinking about who do we know that's the expert in the field, and obviously Dr. Debbie here with us has agreed to be our guest and even invite us into her home. But she is the expert here. She is a psychologist, and she worked at the schools here in the Gulfport area, Gulfport-Biloxi area for years. And Dr. Debbie and her husband, Colonel Joe, have been friends of mine and friends of AGJ for a long time. So we knew she would be the person to come to when it comes to cyberbullying. So let's jump right in.
All right.
How are you doing?
I'm great. It's good to see you.
Thank you very much for agreeing to help us out today.
This is an area close to my heart.
Good.
It is. Did I hear you say that nerds are real, the ones that get bullied a lot?
I know nobody would believe that, but that has happened before.
That's exactly
not
right.
me or anybody I know, but of course I've heard it.
That's exactly right, and that's one of the things we're just going to touch a little bit on today, is about who are the kids who bully and who are the kids who get bullied.
Okay.
So you're right on target.
Well, what's the difference between cyberbullying and regular bullying? Obviously, regular bullying's been around for years, but cyberbullying is kind of a new term that we've heard.
Yes. Before we get into that, I just need to tell you what bullying is.
Okay.
Because cyberbullying comes out of that. But bullying is when a child or a group is targeted repeatedly. Not one time and not, just here and there, but always that child, always that group. And it's repeated to that child. And it can be things like hitting, taking lunch money, pulling hair, tripping, but it also can be social isolation. Let's not talk to that person today. I know a little 7th grade girl who was in the in-group, and then all of a sudden she was out and didn't know why. And that was devastating, and it's followed her into adulthood. So it's a lot of different things. And cyberbullying, regular bullying is also in person. It's typically,
Okay.
I'm going to bully you and you're going to bully me. Okay. Cyberbullying has really, it's taken off because of a lot of things. And cyberbullying involves anything electronic. It can be email, it can be the iPhone, it can be your computer, anything that's electronic. And one of the reasons it's become so popular for kids is it's anonymous. And they can reach everybody at the same time, much bigger audience. And they distance themselves, although we don't think bullies have feelings, they do, but they distance themselves from how the victim reacts. And that's what we call them, a victim. We have a bully, we have a victim, and we have those of us that stand by and don't want to do anything because we don't know or we're scared we're going to get bullied. So the basic difference is bullying is done in person and cyberbullying is done electronically.
Okay, that makes sense. What age is there an age where you see cyberbullying really start, or has that changed as technology's kind of been adopted by a younger generation?
Yes. Before we didn't see it in elementary kids at all. It started in middle school and in high school. Surprisingly now, we have kids that are 7 reporting being cyberbullied. Wow. And we have them all the way up through high school. But the biggest number of kids is middle school. We have some in elementary school, a large amount, like maybe 85% have been cyberbullied in middle school, and it drops off some in high school. I think partly due to developmental things, partly due to kids just growing up and stopping that behavior. Mm-hmm. So yes, unfortunately it's across the whole spectrum of ages.
Okay. If a kid is being bullied or cyberbullied, what are some of the things they can do? Do they have anything they can do to start off with?
Well, it's hard for kids. First of all, they're not going to come tell us because kids have this code of silence. If they tell, nobody's going to trust them. Maybe they're going to get bullied worse. So unfortunately, they tend to keep it inside. So with cyberbullying, unlike regular bullying, parents and schools play the biggest role. And schools really play the biggest role that there is to do. Kids are pretty much kind of out there on their own. If a kid is being bullied in school in the bathroom, well, you never go to the bathroom alone. You take a group. But if they're reading their computer, they're reading it alone, right, or in their bedrooms. So the first thing we do is tell parents, don't have your computer or the iPhones where the kids can use them without you being there. Be aware and take charge of what your kids are viewing. And there's a lot of different programs which you can probably shed light on where the parents can get it and have it installed that the kids can't upload and they can't send it out. Mm-hmm. The main thing is parents know what to do if and when we hope their kids come to them and say, I'm being bullied online. And that comes from the schools. The schools are the best place in the world to train parents, to train faculty, and to train students on what to do if you're being cyberbullied. And lots of good programs out there. The Bully Buster, the OWIS program, there's just plenty of them out there that schools can take advantage of. And they have really good, very good research results on the effectiveness of it. One that I really like is Bully Busters, because the schools use role play for kids. And working in the schools, and as a mom, kids love to role play. We don't say role play, we say let's pretend. And we act goofy. And so you're really giving them some tools to work with and how to handle things in the case of a real instance of bullying.
Okay. So. I know some people may say this is not a big deal, but I think as we see some of the kids now, it's like you said, happening at a younger age as they get older. Like you mentioned earlier, the example, it actually is starting to kind of follow them into adulthood.
Yeah.
So I'm guessing that's something that we need to go ahead and dip in the bud now while they're young.
Yeah. Can you remember being bullied, Ryan?
I can. I remember we later became friends, but at the time, a guy named Lloyd, I remember we met outside the library one day to duke it out. And of course, it never happened. You're in the 4th grade. But yeah, I mean, I can clearly remember it today. So obviously it had an impact on me.
Most of us can. If you ask adults something else about school, like what was the worst test you had or this, they usually can't tell you, but they can tell you if they've been bullied. They can usually tell you what they were wearing, where they were, and everything else about it. So it does stay with us a lot. You mentioned that you were going to duke it out and everything got okay. That is one thing that the kids can do, is try to befriend the bully. It's easier said than done.
Yeah.
I don't know that I could do it. I recently watched a movie on TV, and she was a new girl in school, and this kid was bullying her, and everybody else was bullying her. And she did get into a fight with him, but then she invited him to her birthday party. And he was like, whoa, me? And that's typical of bullies. Bullies usually have some underlying issues that they're working on. But they did become friends, so it's really interesting.
What are some of the other things that we need to know? Or my girls are 1 year old and two right now, so I'm not dealing with it yet. But technology will early adoption. My 2-year-old can do more on the iPad than some adults that I know. So I know that as they get older, and that's something we'll be talking about in part 2 of this series. Programs. What are your kids using? Snapchat and Facebook. It seems like once us adults really adopt a program, our kids realize it and move on to the next one. So in part 2, we'll take a deeper dive into some of these programs that our kids are using, just so you can stay familiar with them. And like Dr. Debbie mentioned, knowing what they're doing, keeping an eye on it, always being there, being present is a big part of it. But some of these people that may say, it's not a big deal, it's not serious, it sounds like it obviously is.
Yeah. Watch your children. That's the biggest thing. If you see changes in your child, and we never like to think there's anything wrong with our children, but victims are usually very timid. They withdraw from you. They end up spending a lot of time in their room, at home. Really keep that openness between them. Let them know and really mean it when they come to you and tell you something that you could that you're not going to do that. Go outside and do that after you talk to your child. But open that door and keep that door open on many levels, but specifically on this. The biggest thing, and we've seen a change in the school shootings, although the public won't think so, but kids are breaking the code. They hear about a child with something and they are telling adults. They didn't do that back in Columbine and before that. They didn't do it. So we have to keep telling our kids, come to us. Go to your favorite teacher. Go to a counselor. If none of those people work, keep finding an adult. Somebody will listen to you. That's one of the best things, is to teach your kids. Open communication, as always.
That's a great point.
Yeah.
So obviously technology is causing this problem to some extent, or just kind of exacerbating the problem that we had, but can it also help? Are there technologies out there that can help with cyberbullying, or help kids or parents or even schools to kind of get it in check?
This is a great time to mention an app that I was referred to, and it's called Stop It. And this I see lots of good benefits for, because the kids don't have to go to their mom and dad. They don't have to go to the teacher. And middle-aged kids, where it's most prevalent, are going to be the ones that don't want to tell anybody. Think back to when you were middle-aged school, and it was, everything embarrassed you. You wanted to be part of the crowd no matter what. This app that you can download is awesome. You can There's 4 different areas on it: stop it, report it, but you can do everything anonymously, and it's awesome. You can pick a favorite adult, and you can then press a button if something's happened and let them know it can be anonymous. It's a wonderful app for parents. A little older for your children at this point, but they will get there. But schools, that's one thing I think the schools should definitely adapt.
Okay.
And there's lots more out there. As you said, you'll cover some of the other things maybe in another part.
Okay. Is there anything that we've missed? Any kind of final parting thoughts? Obviously, the audience here are mostly going to be adults that have children. So is there anything else that we need to...
Pay attention. It's not going to go away. Even if you think it's not happening or you don't want to deal with it, you need to deal with it. Cyberbullying is one of the most vicious things that can happen. We have children committing suicide. We have children that are running away. We have children that are just becoming totally destroyed by this on into their life. So listen to your kids, pay attention to your kids, and don't be in denial. It's okay. You can help them.
Thank you very much for your time
Welcome.
today.
You're welcome.
And thank everyone for joining us. Like I mentioned, this is part 1 of a 2-part series. So come back next time. We'll take a deeper dive into some of the programs that our kids may be using. So thank you.